Hey, hello. Hi, how's it going? My name is Byron Gonzalez here on the Independent 88.5 FM here at home series. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing really well. Well, if you don't know me, I am the music director of our HD3 channel, which is streamable online 24/7, latinalt.org. But today here, I am here with 88.5 FM to bring you an interview with Chicano Batman's Carlos Arévalo, which is the guitarist of the band, and they are just getting ready to release a brand new album called Invisible People on May 1st. And they just released, on the time of this recording, they just released a brand new song called Blank State, and it's magnificent. I've been listening to it all morning. Seriously, it's such a good track. Their new music is funky, groovy, and super awesome. Just waiting for Carlos to get into the meeting here right now, and this has been a great way to really connect with bands from all over the states. Hello, Carlos. Are you able to hear me? All right, we're waiting for Carlos to enter.
Hello.
Hey, Carlos, how's it going?
Let me see one sec.
Yeah, take your time.
Oh, okay. Sorry. It's just. There we go. Hi there.
Hey, there you are. Saludes.
How you doing, man? Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? How's everything?
I'm doing good.
Good to hear, man. And where are you transmitting from right now?
This is my house. Yeah. In Northeast LA.
Northeast LA.
Yeah. How about yourself?
I'm out here all the way in Reseda.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Bali.
Miles away from you. But,
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this. When my program director told me I'll be interviewing Carlos from Chicano Batman, I kind of, my jaw dropped.
Oh. What was your name again?
Byron Gonzalez.
Byron. Nice to meet you, Byron.
Yeah, likewise. What an interesting way to meet.
I know.
Literally meet you. I always make fun of like how people always say, nice to meet you in emails. And literally meeting.
This is the real one, the real thing.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, congratulations on the new single out today.
Oh, thank you.
At the time of this recording, I've been listening to it all morning, and your new singles throughout, like, getting ready to release your new album, Invisible People, they've all been so good and so groovy and just kind of, head bobbing type of music.
Thank you.
Not that your music wasn't before, but this time it's a little more energetic.
For sure. Yeah, by design. Yeah.
That's great. Well, I do want to talk about that in a little bit, but I do want to get into what have you been doing with your spare time now that we're all at home by force, really?
Yeah. Me and my wife have been like going on like walks. There's like little neighborhood hills around here that are like closed off to like the general public. So we'll go on little walks and just go on these little mini hikes that are right here, thankfully. And doing that, watching a lot of movies, listening to a lot of music. We've been actually I've been doing a lot of press for this album. We're like in full press mode. And I think because we are very accessible right now, like they're really like, we have a lot to do like every day. So that's cool and that's good. Usually that would get like, some stuff would get lost in the mix of like touring, like, oh, we're not gonna have time today, and then stuff gets rescheduled. It might not ever happen, but all the band is like very accessible right now. We're all doing different interviews and press stuff. And that's it, just been exercising, just trying to get outside at least once a day and eating healthy at home. Yeah, that's pretty much been it. Playing guitar every day.
Yeah, and you, I think at the beginning of all this, you gave guitar lessons on your IG Live, which is really cool.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was just trying to find some kind of way to get the word out about how important it was for people to stay home. And it was like, stay home and, learn some guitar with me. That was really early on, so a lot of people still didn't believe that this was like gonna be like a real pandemic, or that it was deadlier than the flu. You know, there was still a lot of misinformation, and it was still fresh. So I was just trying to do what I could to just get the info out as soon as I could. You know, do some kind of helpful thing out there.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we need, really, something to keep us at home. Because,
Yeah.
well, I mean, you can go on walks and everything, which is cool right now because there's really not a lot of people outside. So you
Yeah.
can kind of gauge that out. But otherwise, and like other states, people are still going out to the beach and just still living life as if there was nothing around.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. You know, I wish those people well.
Exactly. And how about your bandmates? I see that also Eduardo was doing this really cool thing on Rolling Stone with like guitar pedals and stuff. But how have you guys kept in contact? How does that look when you guys are not in tour or not being able to meet each other physically that often, at least?
Yeah, I saw Bardo and Gabriel on Saturday. They came to my backyard, and we had like a table set up because we had to do a bunch of signings for the pre-orders for the fans that pre-ordered like the special edition
Yeah,
of
the
our
cover
vinyl.
vinyl. It looks really cool.
Thank you. Yeah, so we were really safe about it and sanitary. Our manager came over, everyone was wearing masks and gloves, and we had a table, and somebody worked at one table while another person signed at another table. And I was like, we're all like 10 feet away from each other, but it was cool to be able to like interact with people, you know, that just that we hadn't seen in a while. But we keep in touch through email and the phone all the time. We have like weekly meetings with our management. So everyone's always like in touch. I text with Eduardo though pretty often. We're always sharing basketball stuff. So
It's really cool.
yeah.
And Bardo
Yeah.
seems to be skating a lot, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I saw him
Yeah.
post up something with he was like skating along to the Offspring.
Oh,
Yeah, that was cool.
Dan's old school offspring. Yeah,
Love the Offspring. Um,
yeah.
so you like you said, you are getting ready to release this new album, Invisible People. I want to talk about the name a little bit. Is it kind of like taking a little like a commentary on being a minority in society? Because that's how I perceived it, at least, especially coming from a band, Chicano Batman.
Yeah.
Like, what is your take on it, and what was the reason behind the title of the album?
So the title of the album comes after, it's named after one of the songs on the album. And yeah, that song is probably one of the few political, social commentary on the record. And it is about that. It's about being underrepresented. It's about underrepresentation. And whether you're Latino, Black, transgender, whatever you want to, you know, someone, the poor, you know, the wealth gap, people that are ignored because of, you know, maybe, I guess, to put it another way, it's basically like you live in this society and we go through life and we choose sometimes to not see certain things because maybe it makes us go about our day with a little less grief, you know? And it's like, what do you choose to not look at, you know? So that's what that song's about. But in terms of the title is, we chose it because we felt it had probably like the most subjectivity, and it was a title that it could mean different things to different people depending on, you know, what their worldview is or what their perspective is in life or their community. And it can be humorous. I mean, for me, it's humorous. It's kind of for me, naming it was like kind of to employ like a sense of irony, saying like this is our record that we spent a lot of time on, and this is our coming out party. And Chicano Batman has been pretty underground and had like a cult following for years, but we felt like with this record, the goal was to kind of step it up a notch and get it into people's ears that might not have given us an opportunity before. And so it's kind of like a take on that, like, you can't deny us this time. Here we are, you know? So it's kind of humorous in that regard.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the same time, it can be, if you want to go deep with it, it's like I said, it can be political and it can be about underrepresentation. So it's could be whatever you want.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, that's kind of the thing behind Chicano Batman too. With your last album, Freedom Is Free, it was kind of semi,
Yeah.
and that's where it's really good.
Yeah, oh,
Go
thank
ahead.
you. Yeah, no, I was gonna say Invisible People, and also in addition to that title was like I would go on like Twitter and I see a lot of people say like, man, Chicano Batman is so underrated. Chicano Batman is slept on, and there's this perception because maybe the media doesn't give us as much attention as some other artists for whatever reasons, you know, that we are not like equal to those people, that we're below them, or we're not as, you know, as important as they are. But in reality, like some of these artists that they're comparing us to, we literally play the same venues and sell out the same venues that they do, you know? And
Yeah,
so it was kind of like a tongue-in-cheek critique on that also for me.
yeah, and that's how kind of your bands got like more attention because you opened up for Jack White, and
Yeah.
that he's not Latino at all, and you kind of like open
Yep.
yourself up to like this new audience. So what would you
Yes.
say to anybody that is viewing this right now and kind of like, you know what, I've been meaning to check out Chicano Batman for a while. What can you say to them to really take the time and listen to your tracks? And what can they expect
Yeah.
from Chicano Batman from over the years?
Yeah. So Chicano Batman has always tried to like, we draw from so many genres, like it's almost like the band is genreless for us. Like it's like you can't pigeonhole us as, oh, they only do soul, or oh, they only do funk, or they only do psychedelic, or they only do this. The band encompasses all those things that we've taken in as fans of music over the years living in Los Angeles, Southern California. So it's just a big mix, and I think we have something for everybody if you're willing to give it a chance and listen.
Yeah, I really agree. And with your new album and from the singles I've heard, there's a new Chicano Batman sound. What really brought along this new funky era of Chicano Batman? Was that
Yeah,
kind of
so
like
we had been making, oh, go
a,
ahead. No, we had been touring behind Freedom is Free for several years, and also kind of just mining like a sound that pays homage to like music of like the 70s, early 70s, soulful type. It's always been our take on that, but throwing in like little other elements. But I guess what really connected with most people or stood out was like, oh, this soulful balladish kind of sound that we had. And with like the funky, with the organs, the old school sounding organs and guitar tones. And we had been doing that for the better half of like a decade. And for me personally, I was getting a little tired of that. I wanted to do something different. I wanted to push the envelope for us as artists. And I really wanted us to try something new and do a left turn. Some of my favorite artists are bands like Radiohead, or I don't know, Mars Volta, or artists that they don't care. It sounds bad. Like they don't care what their fans think. They want to challenge their fans, and they want to make something new and progressive and different than the last record. And I've always adhered to that as like as a musician with what I do. But I felt like with the band we were kind of like comfortable, and it wasn't. We were still making good songs, I think. But I really wanted to challenge everybody, and I told everybody when we started working on the demos for this new album, I told them like, hey, it's time to do some new stuff. Like we got to change it up. Like look at what we've done in the past. Like we're really good at doing that. Let's do some stuff we've never tried and just see where it goes. And there was pushback, you know, and I've done interviews with Bardo and Eduardo, and they, you know, they've all admitted like, yeah, like I was not having that when Carlos came in and said that, you know, I wanted to do like, what do you mean I can't use an organ? You know, what do you mean you're not going to use reverb on the guitar? Like those are our sounds. But I wanted to show that it was deeper, that our musicianship and our songwriting didn't matter. It didn't depend on those kinds of tones. Like it depended on just it being original and unique, and that can translate through synthesizers, which you hear a lot on this record, and big drums and head bobbing beats. So I introduced that, and once everybody we started demoing songs that were like that, everyone was kind of like, oh, I get this. And everybody just started piling in great ideas, and then everyone was on the same page, and there was no looking back from that point.
you know, and it kind of brought this idea to me about when I started hearing your new songs. You're kind of like the Brown Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh,
Yeah, I kind of thought about that because throughout they've been always been funky, but as time progressed, they kept changing their album styles, and every
yeah,
album sounded like not like the last one. So that's
yeah,
what
yeah, for sure.
I mean. You also have the front man that's that's crazy and he's super
Yeah,
cool and changed his look too for the new album, which is really cool.
yeah, yeah. This record, yeah, this record was also about us showing our personalities in terms of the music, what we bring to the music individually, and also how we present ourselves to the public. So in the past, we were always wearing the three-piece suits that had like the funky ruffles, which was like an homage to like soul funk groups of the early 70s. And it was kind of more like an homage to like Parliament Funkadelic. Like every time they would go perform, they would dress up and have like this pageantry. It was like a show.
Yeah.
And we felt like some of that was kind of just getting lost in translation with some audiences. Like they thought, oh, these guys are being comical, they're goofy, I'm not going to take them serious. Maybe they won't give our music even a chance just because people judge people by how they look. That's just the true nature of how humans work. You judge a book by its cover sometimes. And so we were like, you know what? We need to let our own personalities shine through like the way it did on this music in terms of how we present ourselves in the public. So I don't know if you've seen like our new press photos. People saw those photos and were like, what the heck is this? Well, that's really what we look like if you're chilling with us at like, on a Sunday afternoon. We're not dressed up in a bow tie,
Yeah. And it really helps you get across that each of you have a personality.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah.
And so what can we expect from this new album? Are we gonna still expect like the bilingual lyrics that the Chicano Batman provides? And what sort of messages are we gonna get out of this new album?
Yeah, so this record we went in, we demoed for like a year, and we wrote demos for a year, and we came up with like 20 songs, and we only had time to record 14 or 15 in the studio, and 12 made the album. And I think one or two of those songs that didn't make the album were in Spanish. So there's no Spanish songs in this record, and that's a first. And it was mainly just those songs were ballads, and they just didn't fit like the overall MO and the theme of this record that we wanted to put across, which was a record that you put on and you want to bob your head to, like you had said. A lot of past Chicano Batman records are like ballady, and people have seen that, and that's a strength of ours, and it makes you sway,
Yeah.
But this time we wanted to hit you hard, and we wanted you to bob your head, because that's really the kind of music we listen to our whole lives. We just never incorporated it into what we do, and we wanted to get that intention across clearly. And unfortunately, those songs just didn't fit in, but that doesn't mean they won't appear somewhere down the line in maybe the form of a B-side or an unreleased track or something.
Nice. And this last question is just sort of just for me.
Yeah, no problem.
Because I don't think I've ever seen it been asked or anything. Just kind of because one of my favorite songs is Itotani.
Yep.
And how did that song come about? And it's like an 8-minute song. And so I'm also a music director on our HD3 channel.
Yeah.
Which is just music from the Latin community and Spanish, from the Spanish countries. But I play that song really often. And when I play it, I'm like, hey, stick around for the whole thing because it really pays off. So I want to know, how did that song come to be?
Yeah, so that song was written by Bartolo, our lead singer. And that song was basically a tribute or about this girl he dated like when he was in his 20s, and she was half white and half Mexican, and she was really into, she was discovering her Mexican roots and began taking up Aztec dancing. And so Itotiani means, I believe, Aztec dancer. And so it's funny, I see people trip out about the lyrics because he says, su piel tiene el color de mazapan. And I mean, there's light-skinned Latinos, but I've seen like Latinas be like, what the, like, I don't have, white skin. Like, I'm dark. Like, who's this song really about,
Yeah.
And then she was half, she was half white and half Mexican. And she actually used to get teased about being like half white, because she's trying to, rediscover her culture, her roots, and be a part of it and take it in and express yourself through it. And so the song's about her. That's what the
cool.
song's about her.
That's really cool. Well, but what also brought along like the lengthwise, that always interested me. Like, all your songs are like, 4 minutes, but this one's double.
Yeah, so a lot of the songs on the first record and even the second record are very long. And that was just the type of songwriting that the band was in at the time. Also, just I think as you become a stronger songwriter, you learn to say more with less. And that's definitely where we're at now, is being more economical with the time. Time flies. You want to get your point across, and you want to cut the meat. Cut the fat off and leave the lean cut. But there's people that love that stuff, that long-winded, experimental, spatial type of listening. I definitely could get into that. I have, tons of records by Miles Davis where a song takes up a whole side of an LP, So there's no right or wrong way, but that's just where we were at as songwriters back then.
Cool. That's really cool. I love that about that song too. And it's just kind of like amazing. And so hopefully with this new album, people will be like, let's take a deep dive into Chicano Batman and listen to their other tracks that we normally wouldn't listen to on the radio.
For sure. Yeah, and I hope they see that there's, been a progression. I mean, you have to progress over a decade. It's like you don't eat the same dinner every day. You want some variety. You want to change things up. So that's what I hope it gets conveyed to the new listeners that started here and now they're here. Just like any artist or musician that you admire, they have to change,
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Carlos. This has really been such a great honor for me. Long-time listener. I saw you at Tropicalia for the first time. I know I was late to the bandwagon for watching Chicano Batman live, and I also was going to take you guys at Coachella because I had my tickets already, and then it happened. So
thank you. It's a bummer. Hopefully, I don't know. They're saying next year is when live music's going to return. We'll see. But I appreciate that. Was it the Tropicalia in 2019 that you went to?
Yeah, just the most recent one.
That one was fun. Yeah, see, that one our set was like pretty experimental for what we normally do. Like we didn't play all the hits that day, or our hits. We played some different stuff, deep cuts that some fans may not have known, or but it was fun. That was a good challenge.
Yeah, it was very interesting. Well, thank you so much, Carlos. I hope the best for you.
Hey, thank you. Nice meeting you.
Likewise. Catch you.
Take care. Peace.
Hey, everybody. Thanks again for tuning in. My name is Byron Gonzalez here on the Independent 88.5 FM. If you want to check out more Latin alternative music, go to our HD3 channel at latinalt.org, or you can catch me every Saturday at midnight on 88.5 FM, where I bring you some of the freshest tunes out there from the Latin alternative community, also Spanish and Brazilian. So check that out. You're here on the Independent 88.5 FM.